We'll call the meeting to order. I'll do a quick roll call of the commission to establish a quorum. Tony, I see that you're called in online. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, Commissioner Morris. Here. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Petropoulos.
Here.
Okay, with all members of the commission present, we have a quorum. I will ask, we'll kind of go around the room at this point, starting with the lottery directors and do some introduction of everybody that's here. Ann, I'll start with you there. We'll go around and then back on the room.
Ann Charpentier, Sales and Marketing Director, Montana Lottery.
Armin Sargent, Financial Director, Montana Lottery.
Philip Charpentier, IT Services Director.
Brian Costigan, Security Director.
Bob Brown, Director. Bill Priggy, Commission Chair, Butte, Montana.
John Metropolis, Commissioner, Helen, Montana.
Janet Taylor, Commissioner, Rollins, Montana.
Steve Morris, Commissioner.
And we'll get to the online folks in a sec, but John, start with you, but go around the room.
John Melia with M&M Consulting.
Dan Iverson, Intralot. Ed Johnston, General Manager, Intralot.
Samantha Berger, Intralot. Shauna Helpert with the Gaming Industry Association.
Jay Bond is the Product Manager, Montana Lottery.
Linda Beckman, Content Manager.
Logan Jackson, Sales Manager, Montana Lottery.
All right, welcome everybody here that are in the room, and then Phil, do you want to just run through who's?
Got a quick roll call for attendees: Corey Radliff, Drew Ellis, Forrest Webster, Craig Van Horsen, iPhone guest, Cassie Kulchin, Michael Rennie, Ryan Kane, Valent Agency, and Tom Kitts, IGT.
Okay, great. So I guess this first item of the agenda, just if anything, if there's any just general public comment that before we get kicked off here, we'll provide some opportunity for public comment as we go through here, as we take votes. But is there anything from the public or anybody online that has anything that they'd like to address with the commission before we get working through our agenda? If you're online, raise a hand, or anything in the room. Start off. Okay. Hearing none, seeing none. We'll move on. And so the first up, as always, is Finance Director Sargent with our quarterly financial report.
Gotta go through the numbers before everybody wakes up. All right, everybody's got a copy of the financials. Go to page 2. The actual financials. Dive into the numbers. Not a lot of differences. We're pretty consistent with last year. A little better with sales, but not huge. But doing good. We are. So page 2 at the top, current assets. We've got 10.786 million. Roughly 1.119 million higher than last year. As you can see, the main differences are increase to cash and cash equivalents. That's just timing of when we get our retailer sweeps versus last year. And that increased by 1.611 million. The next section, non-current assets. Of course, this is a combination of lots of things, but we have 1.925 million, roughly 168,000 less than last year. And again, basically amortization, which reduces our asset. That's based on the new Gatsby. Deferred outflow resources, that's always the same. Current liabilities. A little farther down, 11,050,000. They've increased by 1.203 thousand from this year and last year. And differences between a lot of things, accounts payable, prize liability, and transfer obligation, which of course is our bottom line. Accounts payable increased by 56,000. A lot of that was due to one more invoice that we owed to Intralot for sports betting. Prize liability increase 199,000 just due to jackpots. Our progressive games, stuff like that, nothing we can do about it. And transfer obligation, like I said, is based on our bottom line, that's 649,000 higher than last year. Non-current liabilities, at least liability, which we now have to report, decreased by 390,000, which obviously due to our making payments. The OPEB liability. And I think I explained this, Jana, what the OPEB is. Other post-employment employee benefits. So it's the retirees' insurance and extra benefits that they get. And it's something that EFA calculates for us, puts it on our books. We have no say in it. But that decreased by 273,000. And that offsets by our net pension liability, which increased by 434,000. And again, this is calculation based on state accounting, which we don't have any say in. So, and it's actuarial information that they receive from outside firms. All the above increases, decreases result in total assets and deferred outflows of roughly 13.32 million, which is roughly 782,000 higher than last year. So, on page 3. For the 9 months ended 3/31/24, operating revenue was 122,131,000, which is an increase of 3.362 thousand, or a 3% increase. For the 9 months, scratch revenue increased 4.3%. Powerball increased 16.7%. Montana Millionaire, because of the extra tickets, increased 35.7%. Treasure Play 4.6%. Lucky for Life increased by 3.7%. And Sports Bet increased by 6.8%. On the flip side, Montana Cash decreased by 38.8%. That's because last year there was that big jackpot that everybody was buying tickets. Mega Millions decreased by 12.3%. Big Sky Bonus by 8.7%. Lotto America by 34.9%. Next section down, direct game costs increased approximately 3.182 million or 3.3%, which again goes along with the revenue. So So the increase in operating revenues and the increase in direct game costs resulted in net operating revenue of 23.898 million, which is 114,000 higher than last year. Now the big section in the middle. Operating expenses were at 3.849 million. This was increased approximately 192,000. Or 5.2% increase. And variances are due to a combination of ups and downs, bigger changes. But the biggest ones are audit fees, personal service fees, which are our wages, benefits, and supplies and materials. Audit fees have increased by roughly 42,000. Again, this is just based on the LAD bills us when we pay them. Personal services have increased 146,000 due to increased pay, yearly raises, being more fully staffed. Supplies and materials expense increased by 42,000 due to purchases of dispensers, computer equipment, gasoline prices, and what ITS charges us, which we still knows what they're gonna be, but you know. We don't have a choice with that, so. So that's that section. A little section down below. Non-operating revenue expenses have increased by 10,900 in revenue. This is due to amount invested and rate of return on our investments. And also this time, the sales of our vehicles to surplus. So that's our gain on that. Page 4. Almost there. Oh, by the way, the combination of 0.6% increase in operating revenue, 5.2% increase in expenses resulted in the quarterly transfer of 5,469,000, which is 649,000 higher than last year's third quarter, or a 13.5% increase. Percent of transfer to revenue was 16.4 for the 9 months, and last year it was 16.9. A big difference. Now, back to page 4. Everything looks good as far as budget to actual. As far as revenue, we're at 82.28%. Direct game costs 86.13. And that changes based on unclaimed prizes, stuff like that. So prize expense will go up and down. Operating expenses are at 70.2. And since we're at 75% of the year, fine. Net income is 69.62%. All right, one last page to bore you with.
Riveting.
Oh, good. Again, Jana, this is a report that shows revenue, expenses, net profit for the game. So as you can see, this year was scratch was 10.36. Last year was 12.55. Powerball's at 38.35%. Last year was a mirror, 36.15. Montana cash, 29.89. A mirror, 30.67 last year. Montana Millionaire, 27.97. Last year was 26.98. Mega Millions, 46.24. Versus 36.84 last year, so doing well on that. Treasure Play was at 10.62, last year was 11.87. Lucky for Life. Had some big winners throughout the country. We're at 8.18% versus last year was 22.85. Big Sky Bonus, big jump, 22.02% versus 14.68. Lotto America, pretty close, 39.95% versus 34.43 last year. Sports bet, about the same. We're at 4.99%, last year we were at 5.97. And the following 29 pages are exciting financial statement notes. Is there any questions?
On page 4. In your budget. Fiscal year budget, compared to your actual. You had 75,000 for sports bet. The actual was 50,000. Is that? What's the big difference? Most everything else is pretty close.
75 million, gotcha. It's just, we're doing better, well,
No, that was our budget. That's what we had projected.
Right.
For
yeah,
sales.
I mean,
Yeah.
we do that at the beginning of the year, I mean, we can adjust it during the year.
No, I know that that's what you actually
That's, yeah, what we,
forecast.
that's what we forecasted, but that's what we were making is closer to 50 million at this time. So we had hoped to be making closer to, 75 for this whole, for this.
I know that actually it's 50. I'm just wondering why all the other things that you budgeted are really close,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
except sports bet.
except sports, but
Just curious.
we're just, we're just not making that, we over projected, I mean, is basically what that number means. So we had hoped to be closer to 75 for this fiscal. And we're gonna be closer to 65 probably for sports betting. So we're gonna be about 10 million under what we projected. For
Yeah, if you look,
Yep.
if you look at Mega Millions, I mean, we're 173%.
Mhm.
This is numbers that we don't adjust throughout the year, it's just what was figured out at first. We're doing better on a lot of.
I'm not criticizing it.
Oh, no,
Just asking you
And it truly.
why we projected so high on sports bet.
It was, it was a goal as a marketing department we really wanted to try and make. And I think we ran into earlier on this, this fiscal year, especially early on when we put the new UI out, we had a lot of system, and terminal issues. And that really did, hinder us making that goal. We had a lot of, problems with, the terminal and a lot of problems with the, with sales that, sales were really hindered by those issues. And we saw, it really did give us a lot of problems and we had a lot of issues right up till the, probably that late November, December timeframe when all those problems finally did get ironed out. But we lost a lot of ground in making up those sales. So we feel that, if we hadn't had a lot of those bumps in those 3 to 4 months of that time frame, probably would have come a lot closer to that 75 million. But we didn't do that. We try to make it up with a lot of, pushing with like some extra advertising. We hoped that maybe with the playoffs and football, with the March Madness, which we did really well with, just didn't quite make up a lot of that ground, unfortunately. So didn't make that projection like we wanted to, but we still did better. We're still 6% above where we were last year in sports bet, and we'll see some of those numbers when I, bring up my stuff, but I know, we
We had
really want to
horse
make it. And there it is.
Commissioner Morrison. I think the other thing to look at is 30 years of experience with the other type games and 5 years of experience with sports bet. So we're going to be more accurate because we have a longer period of institutional knowledge on the other games and judging where we're going to be on that as opposed to sports bet. So as that goes on, we'll get better.
And like I say, I'm not criticizing anything, it's just, it stands out a little bit. And I was wondering if there was something that was driving you to think that that was the number and you were hoping to get to it. And I understand that there were complications and problems, so I mean, yeah.
Well, that's a, be honest, that's a question I've asked before as well, Why are we not getting there? And it can be too, it can be based just solely upon, hey, the popular team in the area went out early. Or something like that, that in the final four or whatever it is.
Sure.
Hey, the popular team in the area in the state, if they opt out of the contest early or don't make it into the playoffs or whatever it is, can have a huge effect on it.
Okay, there was a clear goal for last fiscal, for that time frame, and there was a clear event that caused issues that we felt the effects of. We know our big sales timeframes are NFL season and March Madness. And during the NFL season, we were projected to increase sales 25%. We only made 9% increase in sales from the prior year based on the issues with the UI UX. So that was the clear event that caused the lower results.
Okay, somebody owe me that beer. He asked me if I could make his report a little more exciting.
It takes a lot.
Here we go. We had some discussion.
Any other questions for him?
I just have one quick
Yeah.
question, and I should probably know this, but how come that's 9 months actual and that's a year? I mean, I get the budget.
Yeah, I think it's a 9 month, we're 9 months in, so like, the way I always look at these budget things is like,
You
we
add
should
up-
technically be at 75% at total would be the goal, if you were on track of budget, so if you look at this like scratch, we're right there, right, 74.2. These other ones, the jackpot dependent ones are always gonna move, right, it's all kind of jackpot driven, but the other ones, like, I would expect to see scratch and sports bet, and some of these other ones be pretty close to that 75, unless there's something.
You add a
You know.
fourth in your head.
Yeah, you had a fourth in your head, and same with the Armin, is that fair?
Yeah, and
And they're in their budget, so it's always it's a goal or it's a guess.
I
Yeah.
like, treasure play,
Yeah, that one's-
treasure play
That looks
is
good.
daily, scratch is daily, so those are different, where these other ones are draw driven, so there could be a lag of 3 or 4 days. And, yeah,
Got it.
but no, we're looking good. Any other questions?
The question said, anybody online or Tony, any questions out there? Mike?
None here.
Okay. Thank you. All right, with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financial. Okay, Commissioner Taylor moves. Second, Commissioner Metropolis. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Done. Okay, financial report. Thank you, Orson. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go to the information technology update with Dr. Philip Charpentier.
Thank you. Well, Carpentier, IT Services Director, I do have a a longer presentation today because we will be talking about RFP process. But I'll dive right in since the last commission meeting. This past quarter, we have tested and deployed several back-end system software updates and upgrades, including operating system upgrades to our internal control system, our Players Club promotional environment, and our lottery sales rep sales wizard infrastructure. Additionally, we had updated our player-activated kiosk cash receipts with alphanumeric amount values displayed on those receipts to prevent and protect our sales agent locations from nefarious manipulation of those receipts. With Director Brown starting earlier this year, we also deployed updates to our claim system to ensure his name is appearing on those claim winner checks.
For sign off.
Took yours off. Several software updates and fixes have been applied to the back-end reporting, monitoring tools, and system configuration updates to proactively prevent system issues. For example, we fixed a few reports that were back-end reports that were displaying a sports bet parlay boost winning amount improperly. We also tested and deployed an upgrade of a service that provides automated central system monitoring. And we fixed a bug that had the potential to cause problems with every 100th draw on our traditional lotto drawing games. Lots going on. So we also tested and deployed a new report to the backend system with our to help our marketing department with the monitoring of remaining scratch prizes, as well as providing our sales agent with a new report on the retailer portal to help them track mobile sports bet activity at their location. So we're continuously working with lottery staff to help improve system performance and ensure their needs are being met with the current vendor backend system and with the IT assets and resources that we provide and maintain here at the lottery. One very big project to note that is being completed today is the reskin of the Dream Touch player activated terminals in the field. Not only do the terminals have a new wrap on the outsides, outside of the machine, but they also have a new look and feel for player interaction with the kiosk. This new interface was a marketing team effort. However, it is a concept and design of our resident graphic artist, Amanda Reese. All things Montana Lottery are designed by Amanda. And I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate her on another job well done here with this project. She develops and maintains our lottery brand, and the IT department tries to implement that design without altering it too much, which is a challenge for us and a struggle for her to keep us in line. But she does a good job. We have successfully helped the marketing department execute the Lucky Every Day promotion this past April. We also helped to test and launch the summer Chevy truck scratch promotion going on now. And the Headwaters Country Jam promo starting this week. So this past quarter at the lottery, we also completed the request for information RFI procurement process presentations from all interested parties who participated in that process. Key lottery staff attended 9 presentations from all lottery operating system providers and other interested third parties. We are currently drafting our lottery operating system request for proposal RFP now, defining all requirements and requests the lottery needs to establish a new lottery operating system contract for the next 7 to 10 years, starting April 2026. The RFI process allowed interested parties to present their new equipment, new services, new concepts now available in the lottery industry. We also learned how vendors believe the lottery industry is evolving and advancements that we should consider while drafting our RFP. And that's what we're doing right now. Using this knowledge, we are now crafting the RFP language that will allow the lottery operating system vendors the opportunity to formally respond to our RFP this summer. So with the guidance of the State Procurement Bureau and the Department of Administration Legal Department, we're following all procurement laws, rules, policies, and executive orders to complete this RFP process. The Procurement Operations Manager, Lauren Spassarat, is working directly with us, acting as our procurement officer for this project. The DOA Chief Legal Counsel, Don Harris, is also supporting the Montana Lottery in this process. Lauren and Don are working with the lottery to ensure all rules and regulations are being followed during the RFP process. There have been updates to the procurement process that we're currently following. We will not be defining the process timeline so specifically that it will not allow the lottery to update that timeline without having to amend the RFP and create unnecessary busy work. Rather, we're going to post the RFP mid-July. We're going to provide ample time for vendors to review it, ask questions, and respond by the due date. Vendor questions is something new. Vendor questions will be allowed through most of the RFP response window and will be answered real time to all vendors. So this cuts down on duplicate questions and allows vendors the opportunity to get a clear understanding of what we're looking for and how they can respond to each section of the RFP. In the past, there were only 2 windows of opportunity for questions, which has the potential to leave further questions unanswered. So we moved away from that format. One thing that we will be very clear on, though, is to not allow vendors to wait until the very end of that window and then ask an exorbitant number of questions and then also request the response window be increased. This will not be tolerated and will not be allowed. So we'll make sure that's clear in that process. So the RFP schedule will be as follows. Posting the RFP mid-July. The deadline for RFP responses will be posted within that document, and that date will be in the fall. Just say that for now. The scoring evaluation committee will then review all scores, review and score all responses individually, and then come together for the evaluation consensus scoring process tentatively set for early January. The scoring evaluation committee will be made up of subject matter experts here at the lottery. We will then gather the results from that process and provide the commission with complete details for your review and your understanding. As a commissioner, you will be asked to review the scoring results provided, ask questions to ensure you understand what was determined, and then to provide an independent judgment, not consensus, as to whether to accept the recommendation of the scoring evaluation committee. So the only decision to be made is whether the new contract can be awarded or to cancel the solicitation process without an award. If the commission is in agreement, the lottery director will then work with the apparent winner of the new contract on contract terms and statement of work. All lottery leadership, the procurement office, and legal will work on finalizing this contract at that point. Now, if the commission does not agree with the results of the scoring evaluation committee, we'll cross that bridge if that happens. As a scoring evaluation committee chairman, it will be my job and Lauren's job and Don's job to ensure that the commission understands the process, the outcome, and the recommendation to award. But we have 2 more quarterly commission meetings before we are ready for that determination. So I'll be keeping you guys informed of our process, our progress with this RFP process. Additionally, I want to mention that Commissioner Morris expressed interest in understanding the process in more detail and offered to help as much as he can. What did I say?
Metropolis.
I looked at you and I said, more. Commissioner Metropolis, I apologize.
You're not gonna be late at night or what?
Commissioner Metropolis has expressed interest in understanding the process in more detail and offered to help as much as he can. I appreciate the help tremendously. We met with the commissioner last week to review the process in depth. He will be reviewing our draft RFP next month before we post, so he understands what is being requested. He has also offered to help with contract language dealing with how we envision determining liquidated damages. Don Harris will also be helping us craft the liquidated damages section as well. This has always been a struggle to ensure we have the proper language to hold the vendor accountable during the contract without being punitive. So for this new contract, the LD section will be getting a major overhaul. It's good. Having Commissioner Metropolis Commissioner Metropolis, take the time out of his day so he better understands the process is very much appreciated. And if any other commissioner wishes to learn more about the process, please reach out to me. And I'm happy to schedule a one-on-one time with you directly. Otherwise, I intend on presenting the commission with more news at the next quarterly commission meeting. Speaking of which, looking forward to the next quarter. The IT department continues to march on with normal business as well. We're currently testing the new UI UX player interface for the Sportsbet Montana mobile application. This will align the mobile app with the new UI UX already in the kiosks since last summer. This will be deployed once full regression testing is complete. We anticipate this to occur before the new NFL season begins. We're also preparing for our semi-annual system switchover this July, switching the primary central system from the Helena office to Duluth, Georgia, for traditional lottery and Billings, Montana for sports bet. Finally, we will hold our semi-annual vendor on-site visit remotely later this summer, where we review incident reports, lottery expectations, and we'll conduct a Teams video feed site walkthrough inspection of the Duluth office with Intralot. So that was a lot. That's all I have today. Questions?
Do you have an idea of who will respond to that RFP besides Interlot?
100%. All three major lottery operating system vendors have expressed the desire to respond. So all three are waiting to share that. Scientific Games, IGT, Intralot. Those are the big three, and those are who we expect to respond.
Hi, so let me see if I get this straight. You do the scoring and then you bring us the results.
Yes.
So you decide which one of these three.
The scoring evaluation committee comes together for consensus scoring. Each section is scored separately for technical responses, and then the cost section as well. And we gather all of that information up, and Lauren will present that to the commission. And we're going to present that to you well in advance of getting together for your determination. So you can look at it, ask questions,
So we get the scoring for each one of these three?
the scoring is broken down, so all
Right,
three.
in the,
Yeah,
I got that you have that.
it'll be
You score.
essentially a spreadsheet broken out,
Okay.
3 vendors.
And then you decide which one you want or we do?
The scoring evaluation committee determines
Sure.
consensus scoring. So each individual member, subject matter expert says, this is 85%, this is 90. And then we get together and determine, okay, I have 60, you have 60, he has 40. Why are you so low? Let's have that discussion. That's part of the scoring evaluation process. And that's fully transparent, recorded.
Yeah.
Everybody can witness that.
So you bring us one of these three or the scoring for each three?
We will provide the results for all three. And with that, we will say, this is the apparent winner.
Okay.
And this is why we believe the apparent winner. And if you have any questions as to how we determine scores or why there is discrepancies, that's when you bring it to us.
Great, thank you.
It's all very
I'm interested in as much information as I can learn on that.
Absolutely. And
Thanks.
yes, if you want to get together and just have a
Thanks.
one-on-one.
Is there any sort of preference, Phil, for the existing contractor?
The way we will be defining the RFP is all new and unused equipment. Therefore, it's an even playing field for all three vendors. The incumbent would always win if we would allow used equipment, because they would say, "Man, it's already there."
Yeah.
So this is from a timeline perspective, probably March of 2025 is when, if I heard that correctly, if it goes out in July, responses will do sometime in the fall, scoring process will be in January, March or June, about a year from now probably is when we'd be taking the results of the scoring committee, you think, or?
I am hoping to have the results out to you early January.
Okay.
And put together a meeting separate from our quarterly meetings
Okay.
to make that determination. So it's just one meeting with the focus for that, which will allow us, the end goal is for us to have the contract, to have the determination approved by the commission, the contract in place with the new apparent winner. And then, yes, correct, and then have them, give them their marching orders prior to March 2025, gives them an entire 12 months to prepare,
When does the contract expire?
March 2026. 1 year is typically what vendors require, request for conversions.
So we'd probably
We've got a
sometime
2-year
late January.
extension on. Yeah.
All of our extensions are
They're already
expired.
expected.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yes.
Ooh.
What was that?
So that meeting would probably be sometime in February 2025, late January 2025.
Late January. Okay. If I can make it shorter, I will. If I can make it closer, I will.
Yeah, just as long as everybody has enough time to review that scoring document, kind of walk through that. Walk through the process, and the more we have, the more information we have on how all that's going and how it is before that meeting, the better. So, we have a productive meeting. And hopefully could come to some kind of consent or come to a vote on that at that time. So,
Yeah, my goal is to keep you guys informed each quarterly commission meeting as we progress through the process. And so that you will have a clear understanding of what your role is at that time and what you need to be looking for. And I'm hoping 2 weeks is enough for that review. But we'll see.
Phil, didn't you tell us, maybe it was the last meeting, regardless of who's awarded the contract, that all of the equipment will be changed out
Yes,
regardless?
yes, even if the incumbent wins, I don't want old equipment.
Yeah, it's all being, yeah. And that's part of the RFP.
That will be clearly defined.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to thank Phil and Ann for, they've been very responsive to my questions, and when I asked to meet, they were very responsive. If you want more time with them, I'm sure they'll be responsive to you as well.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm looking forward to having you involved and I think it'll just help the whole process. So, yeah, if anybody else wants to reach out to you guys.
please do, and thank you again.
Sure.
Commissioner.
That's all I have. Anything else for Phil at this point? Okay, thanks, Phil. So I'll turn it over for an Intralot report to Pat Johnston. No, we don't, there's no vote on that one. It's just an information.
Just a couple of small updates. First, Dan Iverson is our marketing manager at Intralot now. Happy to have him. You guys probably worked with him in the past. He comes from Montana Lottery, so transition's been seamless. Love it. Great. The other update is we still have one open position in our warehouse. It's a warehouse technician. It's going to help us with our inventory management, parts delivery, all that sort of thing. Takes some pressure off of our other technicians. That's about it. So all the other updates I had on the IT systems.
Questions for Pat? Thank you. All right, next up is Ann Charpentier with our marketing and sales report.
Good morning, everyone.
Bear with me.
So I have a few items obviously on this agenda, so we'll move through as quickly as possible, but of course, feel free to interrupt, ask questions as we go through, and we'll get started. So just starting out, looking at a snapshot of all our product sales, and I'm gonna include this. All right. So happy to report that we have almost a 6% from last year's record sales as we inch closer to the final weeks of our fiscal year. This chart looks at all our products compared to last fiscal year up to week 48. Successes so far this year come from our Powerball and Treasure Play games and the larger jackpots from earlier this fiscal year. Lucky for Life has been popular with players, which we will look at a little bit closer in a future slide. Sportsbet Montana wagering continues to grow with a healthy 6.1% increase, as I mentioned before. Some games seeing notable downturns would be Mega Millions, Montana Cash, and Lotto America, principally due to large jackpots these games had back in fiscal year 23. Mega Millions did have a very large jackpot earlier this year, which narrowed the gap significantly, but is still running a 9% deficiency as we close this fiscal. Overall, we're very pleased with the performance of our products, especially Treasure Play, providing strong, steady growth throughout the year. So a closer look at Mega Millions does show that decrease in sales, but a growth we had starting around week 36 when the $1 billion jackpot started to take shape, helped to decrease or increase our percentage. Mega Millions will be a game of further discussion in my presentation when we discuss the game group and their plans for enhancing this game next year. And Lucky for Life has always had a steady following with players, and more recently has seen a consistent increased interest since the larger jackpots have been hit. The set prize of $1,000 a day for life really resonates with players, and we are that they're not chasing those higher jackpots. And it shows with the increased interest in this game's activity especially over the last 10 weeks or so, as you can see. I'm gonna move that little check box here. There we go. This is sports betting, obviously. So moving right into sports wagering, this product line has been performing very well in the past quarter. An increase of 6.1% in total wagers from this time last year. Wagering is still very event driven, but spread across live events and futures as well. And then provided here are two charts. The first is a look at fiscal year 24 handle breakdown, GGR, which is gross gaming revenue, and payout with the handle breakdown broken down by sport below the pie chart. Right of that is the same chart, but depicting the project to date handle data. So going back to the fiscal year, we have a total handle of 58.8 million and have paid out over 1.76 million to our sales agents in commissions. And then this narrows our view of our handle to show where those wagers have been made. In the 521 locations currently licensed to sell our sports wagering product, majority of our handle for the most recent week's data come from our kiosks in sports wagering locations. And it would make sense that the largest number of wagers would also come from machines as well. So 89% as shown in the pie chart on the right. So we're still seeing that 90 to 10% breakdown for wagers placed by mobile and retail. Go quickly. And then wanted to give a quick look to our March Madness activity. The men's NCAA basketball tournament known as March Madness was held March 17th through April 8th. And the metrics for that timeframe, the total handle was up 2% from last year when March Madness took place, with 2.1 million being wagered on this year's tournament alone. Payout to the players was 2.1 with a 99.7% payout. So obviously, what went in, went out. And when that happens, primarily when the favorites are winning the tournament. That was not only seen by our book, but that was seen by all books. We were no different than all the other books out there. They performed the same way. The total amount of bets placed were about 25% up from last year. So we had a lot of wagers being placed, upwards of 84,000 wagers were placed just on that tournament alone. The average the average wager was around $26 for that tournament. So the one thing that I did want to also point out were the increased activity that occurred with the women's NCAA tournament. That total handle was up 125% for women's NCAA tournament, as well as the total bets that were up as well. That 127% increase in wagers, and the popularity surrounding the Caitlin Clark. She and her addition to the play and the excitement surrounding her and the activity that we did not see last year. I mean, clearly her popularity just really excited people, and the betting certainly did reflect that as well. So just moving on to Scratch. The Scratch product success can be attributed to a couple of really key factors here. The incredible holiday sales period is remarkable, which is that middle bar there around the 25-week period. But the driving force, nearly 10% increase from last year's sales, is the introduction of our $30 price point to the market in March. The $30 Millionaire Maker game has been received very well by sales agents and players alike. They enjoy the play style and alternating gold and platinum ticket designs, and it has been a big success for the departments. We're very pleased with that, and you can see where that red lines are really taking off there around week 34. And that is all primarily due to that $30 price point being introduced. And we've got our Chevy Silverado game that is currently on sale. And it was launched in May, and also a significant contributor to the increased sales for this fiscal year. It is a $10 summer truck game. We have the 2 trucks that we are giving away, one within the game and then another one within a second chance drawing that will be drawn in September. And we just had the $150,000 top prize claimed this week, actually, in that game. But there are lots of other prizes to be given away in the game. So, and of course, the actual truck prize still remains out there, as well as the second chance drawing. So, glad to see that game is still running strong in activations as well in our sales and activations. Doing well. So now I'm going to actually invite Jay Bond up here to talk about the 2025 Scratch launch plan. And he's going to I know this was a handout that you all received, and he'll just take us through what is planned for 25. And of course, if there are any questions, we'll certainly answer those for you. Thanks, Jay.
Well, morning, everyone. Joanne will flip through these, but got a handout on. And so this is
This plan follows on what we've done in the last 2 fiscal years. Not really a whole lot of changes in the plan. We're bumping up by 1 game. This year we're doing 45. Last year we predicted printing 44 games, so we're anticipating printing 45 games this year. Done quite a bit of effort and kind of fine tuning ticket quantities in conjunction with our ticket vendor, Scientific Games. Had a lot of meetings with them and did a lot of planning with them. So hopefully we're going to be able to capitalize on these changes. This year we added a second 30 due to the popularity that's number current 30, which definitely exceeded my expectations. Still extremely popular, so we're planning on doing second 30 FY25. And I think 2 fiscal years ago, initially we had quite a few discussions about lowering payout in the 10s and the 20s, which we did at that time, and we've stuck to that. Really across the board, we haven't changed any payout ranges or overall odds of games. We're sticking closely to that plan. Really, like I said, not a lot of changes. We added a $10 game, cut back by 1 of the 2s on the 1s. So it all basically balanced out to this last year. So that's really all I have. We're kind of this is action items. We can approve for FY25. All I have. Any questions from anybody? That was way too easy.
And, yeah, any questions about that? I mean, it looks pretty similar to prior years. When I was looking at this earlier, and the performance in terms of top line sales seems to be doing pretty well. So
Good year. Always like to see that growth, but I think we're over 9% today, so a banner year for us. So. What does the non-extended mean? That just means, Commissioner Morris, just like a traditional key number match, you know, your numbers, winning numbers, very simple play style. Extended play would be something like a crossword or a slingo that takes longer to play. It's just kind of a common term in the industry.
So where you show on there where you've got your percent, your payout range, it's all the same, but your total quantity of tickets, you got 1 at 200, 1 at 180. Is that like the truck game? Do you print more of those tickets for that because of the price structure?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. To handle the like that. Well, this particular one was the truck game. To bump that up to keep it that a nice top cash prize and fund the price structure of the two trucks.
What was the 200 top one?
That is cash blowout. That's our long running $10.
It's the one that has like a bunch of 50s, bunch of $100 prizes. That's all the prizes, and it's very popular with players. It's kind of one of those games we always have out. We just, change the design usually in it, and, but it's a very kind of a staple game out in
The quantity of tickets, it's based on the price and the amount you're going to pay out,
and the life of the game too.
Life of the game.
That game will be out there about a year or so, and we keep turning up the dial on that game almost every year, just because it just continues to be just about one of our best sellers. So that kind of goes back to that
earlier topic I was talking about of adjusting quantities based on sellout rates. You know, how long things stays in the market, what we'd like to see it, so we're constantly shifting those quantities a little bit up or down. Trying to keep them pretty consistent, otherwise chase our tail trying to figure out what we should.
Any other questions for Jay or?
Are you online or Tony, I guess? Do you have any questions on this plan for 2025?
No, I think it looks good. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other comments in here, how about any public comment on this price structure before we ask for a vote on this thing? There's nothing in the room, Mike, if you'd let us know, or Bill.
Not seeing any public comment.
So at this point, I'd entertain a motion to approve this game plan 2025. Is Commissioner Morris? Second, Commissioner Taylor, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, hearing none, the fiscal year 2025 scratch plan is approved. Thanks, Jay.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay.
Good work. Thank you, Ann.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so, next subject, sales agent surveys. I wanted to address observations made by commissioners during the last commission meeting in March, regarding the importance of having sales agent input on equipment considerations, as we head into the RFP process. Through much deliberation and consideration of the timeline for the RFP process, which is, ever looming, as you've heard, we determined the best way for us to obtain timely and useful feedback from various sales agent types. We needed to conduct specific sales agent type surveys. So, surveys were designed specifically for our grocery store and convenience store locations, then a separate survey for our bar and casino locations. We had to work fast in order to give our sales representatives and our sales manager to circulate the survey link to corporate chain accounts, clerks, bar owners, bartenders, servers, and anyone who wanted to provide their feedback on equipment. The questions were basic yet direct to the specific wants or needs for those locations. So the surveys were kept brief and to the point, and in the end, we compiled 203 total responses, with a 50-50 split of respondents for each type of survey. The summary of the surveys told us that our sales agents, basically told us what they were looking for. And in that blue box there is a kind of a summary of what they said. We did receive that 203 total. They are looking for essentially player-facing screens of various sizes. They want self-service terminals offering all of our products. That was something that came out pretty prominently. They want multifunctional terminals. They are looking for that they have little desire for a lottery terminal at self-checkout currently. That's not really of importance at this time. Greater reliability of equipment and software. They made comments towards that. Increased report and accounting usage. That came out as something of importance to them. So in an effort at brevity here, I offer just a few questions and chart responses to provide a snapshot of some of the responses we did receive. Question 3, of the bar casino survey resulted in a majority of respondents saying they would like to see a larger or a combination of advertising displays for jackpots and current offerings. And in question 4 of the convenience store survey, a similar question saw a similar response as well, with just a slightly higher desire towards a smaller screen. So as you can see in these charts, question 4 of the bar casino survey clearly indicates overwhelming desire for a terminal that sells all lottery products. And in question 6 to the same group, 72% of the respondents only see the benefit of having one terminal in their establishment at this time. And in question 3 to the convenience stores, in grocery stores, asked about the need to have a lottery solution for self-checkout. 74% did not indicate there was a need for that at this time. So this exercise was very helpful to us as we determine certain parameters surrounding equipment and peripheral needs for the RFP. We appreciate the time our sales agents took to complete the survey and the work the staff has devoted to analyze the work through the data the survey did collect. So we do have other questions that were asked. It was shorter, a short survey. We didn't want to take up too much of their time. We do appreciate the conversation that took place in March when we discussed this, and it did give us the opportunity to put this in front of them, give them a chance to have a voice in this, and it's giving us an opportunity as well to make some good decisions for moving forward in the RFP process. So I think it was a really great exercise for us all. Any questions before moving on? All right. So going into Mega Millions. So this action item has changed since in just the last few days, actually. This was an action item on our agenda. However, it has now become not an action item. The reason being, I'm gonna go into my notes here. The multi-state Mega Millions game will be going through game enhancements in spring of 2025. Mega Millions is a national jackpot game that is managed by the Mega Millions Consortium. This group makes all the decisions surrounding the Mega Millions game and any enhancements applied to the game design. The Multi-State Lottery Association, or MUSL, does assist with helping to manage game prize pools and drawings. Normally, the game enhancements I am presenting today would be paired with the new game parameters for your review and approval, as well as game draw parameters for the MUSL side of the game management. Unfortunately, these documents were delayed, and their delivery from the MUSL or from the Mega Millions game group, they did not have them for us today. Despite their delay though, that does not have to stop us from review and discussion of the game enhancements that they are going to propose. We can answer any questions that you have regarding the game design. So we will have those parameters and both the clean and the red line versions for you to review in our September meeting. So any questions or concerns before we proceed with the enhancements that are planned? So we'll have the red line versions and new game parameters for you in September. We'll go through the designs that's proposed so we can talk about that today, and then September go through the actual parameters. Then that's all right with everybody. I think it'll be a good introduction to the changes they have proposed. All right, move on. So nothing to vote on today, but that's okay. All right, so Mega Millions, I want to just go through real quickly the current design. So just as a reminder for comparison purposes, what we are comparing to. The current game right now is a $2 game. It is drawn on Tuesdays and Fridays and offers an optional purchase of the Megaplier for an additional $1. Megaplier can multiply a prize up to 5 times, excluding the jackpot. With its propensity for billion-dollar jackpots, this game has been known to rank as one of our top profitable lotto games. So it does actually produce pretty good profit for us. And now going into the actual enhancements that are proposed, the Mega Millions Consortium has determined that in spring of 2025, they will be implementing these changes. So they are proposing this game will turn into a $5 per play game. So it's going from a $2 per play to $5 per play. A multiplier of 1 times up to 10 times will be added to each play automatically. So Megaplier, which was an optional purchase, is now going to be automatically added to each play. So it will be randomly selected for the player. So randomly, a multiplier will be added to each play. So as you can see on the sample ticket that's there, on the first play, randomly, the 3 times has been added to that play. So if that play wins, it will have a 3 times multiplier on that win. If the second play wins, it will just have 1 times multiplier, which means it'll just be whatever that win is. And on the third, if it wins, it'll have a 5 times multiplier to that win. So you can see that it also is going to be a $50 million starting jackpot. Right now, the just starting jackpot is at 20 million. So it's increasing the starting jackpots pretty significantly. There will be new graphic assets where it will get rid of the with Megaplier will go away and it'll just be the Mega Millions logo. There will be new play slips that will be required with this because obviously the logo is going to be changing and you won't have to select Megaplier any longer. So we'll have to print new play slips. So those are some significant changes, the price point being very significant. That will definitely be a big change for us. And we don't have a lotto game right now that has a $5 price point. So that will be significant for us. Any questions before I move on? So moving on to just a little bit more information. This is the prize structure for the game that shows a little bit of the ranges that with the, and I know this is a little bit, you know, a lot of numbers and things, but some breakdowns regarding the enhancements. So the jackpot odds do decrease slightly from 302 million to 278 million. Overall odds are 1 in 22, which are about the same. Average jackpot hit increases quite a bit from 387 million to 694 million. And the large prizes are 10 million win for a 5 hitting 5 plus 0 match and 50 for a win for a mega ball match. So if you hit, you can actually the lowest win, you can if you have a 10 times on the lowest win, you can actually win $50, which is pretty significant for the lowest win. And that's pretty good for a low win, but you know, you'd have to get a 10 times on your multiplier. So there's some calls you can make here from a marketing perspective. It's getting people to understand that and to, you know, win on that to realize it, but yeah, so.
What do you see in, excuse me, Mr. Chair, like with Powerball and with Mega Millions, where you have the option, the multiplier option, Do you track that? I mean, how many people? I hear a lot of people say, no bullshit, I'm not paying that other dollar because I just want to win the jackpot. And both games, I mean, Powerball and, you know, you could pay that additional, it's $1. Is it $2 on Powerball? I don't know.
Well, remember, we actually, Power Play is automatically added to every Powerball ticket in Montana. We added Power Play automatically, so it's a $3 base price in Montana. Back in 23, 22, 23, we added, Power Play is automatically added.
Can
We're
you
one
pick
of
that
only
option?
two
No.
states that
No, we-
do it.
Sorry.
Powerball?
Yeah, we defaulted Power Play in summer of 23, but we 22, we also added Double Play is the extra $1 now.
Oh.
So there was an additional add-on, so as opposed to having two
Right.
add-ons, now we still only have one, we're forced Power Play.
So my question is, how many people opt in for that? And I mean, what's the percentage of opt in and opt out?
So for Double Play, we actually have an opt-in, percentage of about 45 to 50%. We actually have always done really well with add-ons in Montana. On this,
For the dollar.
for Mega Player, it's around the same. We'll do around 40 to, I think it's 45%.
Might need to be a little higher. It seems like the last one that came out, we were on average about 55%.
Yeah, it could be, it could be, I'm Mega Player.
To your point, Steve, that's not the feedback we're getting from Montana players. In fact, as a per state average, we are one of the highest add-on the players participate, and they pay the extra $1 here in Montana because they understand that you're more than likely going to win a lower prize. Let's boost that lower prize as opposed to jackpot gambling.
I don't pay a lot of attention to it, but I mean, it just seems like when it gets up there, I mean, you've got your everyday Powerball players or Mega Million players. And then you have that group that's only playing when that jackpot gets up there. So.
Now, you will notoriously see as a jackpot grows, your participation level in add-ons go down because they're putting their money towards the jackpot. That's notoriously what you'll see.
Yeah, that's right.
And but when the jackpot gets hit, then your participation levels and multipliers go right back up. So that is very much a pattern that you will definitely see. And you'll see that in Montana. But you definitely, in Montana, our participation levels are higher than most states.
Because you've got that group of people that plays
Right, they understand.
Powerball or Mega Millions, you know, every week, you know, they're looking to hit it. And then you've got probably a bigger majority of people
Right.
that jump in when it gets up there.
And with these changes, it puts that out of players' minds. So you no longer have to think about whether or not to get it. You're gonna get it at the $5 cost. It's a higher cost. Why pay the extra money for it? Because you could win $50 just for hitting the gold
You know
ball.
me, I say it doesn't matter. You can put that cost up and people are still gonna play it. And they will.
And yeah, and you know, they've done a significant amount of research. They've done, you know, they've been researching this for a couple of years now, especially the $5 price point. And there's other states that have $5 price point games and, you know, lotto games and you know, this is the direction that they've decided to go. And so it'll be interesting to see, you know, the participation. You know, we anticipate loss, obviously, you know, whenever we've had a increase in the price point for a game, we've seen anywhere up to upwards of 35%, you know, of players vacate the game. But it's always made up by the other 70% that have stayed and played that extra $1 that has been asked of them, you know, to stay in it. And so we'll see what happens with Mega Millions.
Extra $2 or $3.
I know, right? There's a lot more that we're asking them from this one. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
How close are, you know, this stuff is all coming from muscle, right? And I know we approve this thing, it's it's kind of.
Well, this is coming from the Mega Millions Consortium, that's not muscle, so.
Oh,
this is
so I was
different.
wondering, so,
Right,
so they're different
they are different.
in indirect competition with, Powerball. I mean, how close is that? I mean, are they kind of the same, these consortiums and stuff, are they made up of the same people, or is it super competitive, or is it? 'Cause I know there's a lot that goes into all
They will
this.
tell you, we are not Powerball. I mean,
Right.
they will absolutely tell you they are not Powerball.
That's-
However, they have got a game that looks exactly like Powerball.
Right.
Right.
So it's kind of, that's just how I've always been fascinated by, you got these two big national lotto numbers games that are kind of coming out of the same place, but maybe not. I didn't know how competitive it all was. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic, the two of them. I mean, they have had a game that basically looks identical to each other for years and for like a decade or more. And now they're definitely going far, you know, they're taking a different turn, really. Now, whether Powerball will turn around and do something very much similar to what Mega Millions has done, who knows? But right now, yeah, they're definitely going a different direction. And it might be to set themselves apart from Powerball because they have looked so similar for so many years. So,
Thank you. And then, so no action on this one.
right,
We'll hold,
yeah,
no public comment unless somebody wants to, at the end, wants to comment on this, but this will be something. we'll get.
certainly if there are any questions that come up in the meantime, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, thank you. So the next one, which is an action item, it has been a little while since I brought you a treasure play game for your consideration. So we're happy to bring you Ruby Casino Progressive. And this is Ruby Casino Progressive is a $20 progressive game designed similarly as the $20 loaded progressive game that is currently selling in all of our bars and casinos. A popular play style and price point. This a number match game offers a starting jackpot of $25,000, provides players a winning experience that we know that they enjoy.
This would be your non-extended play.
Yeah, yeah. The prize structure mirrors that of the $20 loaded progressive game with the same payout and pool size. This game will replace the $30 high stakes progressive game when that jackpot, that top jackpot is won. Not a lot to really say much more than that about this one. Are there any questions I can answer about it? And if not, I certainly would ask for the commission's consideration of this game.
Yeah, Phil, thanks. Even when we were talking about those non-extended, those are scratch, right?
Yes.
You think concept, no.
This is not a scratch.
No, so, no, no, it's true, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would you explain again for me? Sure, it is again. Progressive games as opposed to the others.
Of course, it is a game that with a starting jackpot, every time a ticket is purchased, a portion of that sale then goes to fund that jackpot. So a little portion of that money then goes into the jackpot and it grows as a sale is made. So it just slowly grows and grows until the jackpot is hit. So we have approximately 6 games out right now that are considered progressive. And they grow in various ways or funded in at various levels and are at various price points. 20 down to $3.
$2.
$2.
Free card poker.
Free card. Is that
Mr. Chair,
yes.
just for so that it's on the record, you
Yes.
showed it on there,
Mhm.
that it's on the record that these tickets, this game will only be sold bar and casino terminals,
Correct.
the licensed establishment terminals.
Yep, correct.
But they're correct. gaming application.
Yes, on the treasure play machines. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Chairman, if I may. This is a replacement for the Florida horse racing $30 game. So we know we're ending that relationship July 1st. And that game needs to remain on screen until the jackpot is hit. Because we don't want to take away a jackpot from our players who have been feeding that jackpot. But as soon as that game hits, we'll have a hole that we'll need to fill, and this is our solution for that.
And it's a similar game to an existing game, pretty much, is it?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's a $30 game, this will be a $20 game. We're not feeling that, we've done some analysis on the 30 versus the 20, we feel like 20 is a better product for the treasure play. It performs better. And we would like to put a 20 back into that slot instead of a 30 until we know a little bit more about what we want to do with the $50 price point. So right now we're going with the 20.
But to answer your question, yes, it's similar to the other $20 game, the $20 loaded progressive revenue.
So we'll have two 20s and.
Yeah, which is fine, which we know will work just fine.
And they could kind of play off each other with their jackpot, depending on what.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Any other further comments from the commission, Commissioner Harbaugh, have any questions on this one?
I do. I think I heard someone say the relationship was ending with horse racing. Is that the entire relationship or the game?
The entire relationship, Commissioner, we have determined that June 30th was the end date, and we've already ended the scratch ticket as well. And this was the other obligation we had to pay the Board of Horse Racing. And we no longer will have that after June 30th.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this game?
Does not appear to be any public comment at this time.
Motion to approve the game, if you guys would.
Well, I'm gonna wait for the more experienced guys to move.
Okay, so is there an issue with the game parameters? Are there any questions that?
I mean,
Okay. Thanks, Commissioner.
I'll second. I just want to know more. I just don't think I know enough yet. But I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the game's approved.
Then the last thing I'll just run through real quick here is just some of the initiatives that we have as a marketing department. We're obviously seeing through our Chevy Silverado summer sales and the promotion we've got a lot of work to do for the RFP. We're doing a lot of also work with our sports bet product with the NBA and the NHL playoffs and also MLB season in full swing. We've got prep to do for Montana Millionaire. It seems like it's a long way off, but it'll be here before we know it. And then planning for our media for fiscal year 25, working with our ad agency on that. And then we'll have obviously some information for you for the Mega Millions changes and that will be something that we'll need to obviously begin prepping and figuring out as well as we get closer to 25 and its changes. So, and then many other things that are on the horizon. So any questions or anything else I need to?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
are you, at our next meeting, are you gonna be prepared to talk to us about changes in the Montana Millionaire?
Of course, we talked about it in the last meeting and got those approved. So
Come to a consensus.
we did. We did. You guys voted and we have all that outlined and software's on and it works. We can certainly, we can go over what was, and just do a reminder and
It's taken care of.
yeah, we're good.
Could you
So.
email me and remind me?
Yes, I can do that. I can do that. Yep, we can do that, certainly. And just, for a quick reminder, 500,000 tickets. We have one drawing in the mid-time period of the season that'll happen on December 2nd for $250,000. It's kind of calling it a $250,000 Monday. Got rid of the early bird drawings and it's the $250,000 Monday drawing. 250,000 will be given away. And sales start on November 1st at 5:30 in the
We
morning.
didn't change the price point.
We did not know, $20, yeah, $20, yeah, so.
5 million.
5 millionaires? No,
Four.
Four?
Four, yeah, no, we did not
Right
do
on my
5.
desk
We did
before you
four.
leave, I'll just hand you that printout of what it actually does, and wasn't another $1,500 winners and.
Yeah, we have we did a lot more of the instant wins, the 500 and the $100 instant wins. Yeah, I can give you kind of there's a press release with, that we did with all the details.
Well, it's done. I don't really care because it's done.
Yeah, right. Right. But we did go over that in the last commission meeting. Any other questions?
Okay, seeing none, thanks, Ann.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks like we're moving forward here with the security report with Director Huskell.
Could be fairly short here because all the people that take the time are ahead of me, so that's good. I want to talk about 3 things today, maybe. There we go. I'll talk about our business continuity, fire suppression and system, and then some staffing issues that we've had at the lottery overall. You can look at the things I'm talking about today are all in support of the daily operations of this place. The nuts and bolts of how this place works. Business continuity, essentially I'm missing a slide here.
There you go.
Okay, I'll talk about it anyway, though. Business continuity plan is essentially what happens to this place if something went wrong. Building burned down or something like that. And there's 2 things that we look at for our business continuity plan in general. One is how we operate and how we've got our failovers and where we can do our business at. And then also we have to look at the way our main partner, which in this case is Intralot, how they do their business. Intralot has a plan that is in place. Matter of fact, Pat just finished his update to their continuity plan and forwarded it over to me here 2 weeks ago. So they're up to date and we've integrated that into our plan. But in going through our stuff, we've started to look at what happens if this building was the one here tomorrow. And as far as our instant games, Powerball, all of that, all of those things, all those lotto type games, they're all electronic and we've got great failovers and things like that. Our weak spot was scratch. We lose our warehouse, we lose everything. So one of the things we've been trying to do is create some kind of backup stock for that. So take a game, move it off-site in a secure location where we can store it in case there is a major fire here or something like that. We have the ability to continue our operations. And in addition to that, we've also put in there an ability to take another part of our business, which involves armaments people, was the issuance of our winners. So we have to be able to make checks, we have to be able to cut them. So we've created a plan to go forward with that. Whereas we've been working with the Department of Revenue through their Alcohol Beverage Control Division to take some of our stuff, take a game, an actual physical game, and store it over in the liquor warehouse. Yes, it's just an excuse for Brian to go visit the warehouse. But where we'll store that over there and also store some additional equipment so that we could do off-site check cutting or something like that to continue our business. So we decided to work with the Department of Revenue. They are one of the few people in state government that run a warehouse as tight or tighter than we do for security purposes. So they got cameras, everything like we do, and much better or very good controls of their facility. So we're entering into a memorandum of understanding with them right now. The lawyers have it. So it'll look nothing like the draft one that I sent over after the lawyers are done with it, and we hopefully should be able to move that to the next month. The plan is we'll take one game at a time and move it over there and then rotate it about every 3 months. So we're not adding an additional game or anything like that. We're using existing, we're just using an existing game in a different storage area. So Jay has a $5 game that comes out and decide that's the one we want to put into storage because it's not supposed to hit the streets until 4 months from now. We can put it over there, store it over there for those 3 months, 4 months, and then rotate it back here and start distributing it and replace it. It's pretty simple idea, but I think it gives us a more balanced approach for our continuity of our operations within the lottery. Talk a little bit about our fire suppression system in this building. National Fire Prevention Association requires, by the way, the city and all the state government go by the NFPA for their standards, require that our fire suppression system in this building undergo testing. We've been good about having our testing done every year, but we have not had a inspection. When they say inspection, they mean inspection of the piping that goes into this building for a significant period of time. It is the responsibility of the building owner, but we were kind of driving the train on this and pushed them forward. It required a complete shutdown of the fire suppression system, which I didn't realize this was that big a deal. I mean, we had to notify an alarm company, we had to notify the city of Helena, we had to do all sorts of things. We had to notify when we were doing testing, all this other stuff. It was a fairly large item deal. And so we did that here about a month ago, and it was a good thing we did. By the way, if you ever wonder what's in the Helena City water, it reminded me a lot like Butte there for a while.
I got good water.
That is the main valve from the fire suppression system. They replaced 2 valves, and there was a significant amount of, as you can see, debris in that. In addition to looking at the valves and everything like that, they used a snake device to go through all of the fire suppression pipes. They fixed a couple of odd deals in there, and got them done. We had some minor problems over the past year with the suppression system. We have what they call a dry system, because some of our suppression pipes run on the outside of the building. And it's not good to have water and pipes on the outside of the building in Montana winters. So we have a dry system. It means it's charged with air. And if there's a fire, the air drops and water replaces it and puts the fire out. But we were having problems with it maintaining the April, over the year. And that's probably why, because the flapper valve that was in there was full of debris. And it was causing a slow leak in the air. So I'm glad we got it taken care of moving forward on that. I want to talk about some staffing. Previous director sales started a deal as we got some vacant positions open in the lottery. He and I sat down and reviewed was the position necessary, and if we could move it to support another part of the business that needed additional staff. So we were looking to play movement with some positions within the lottery, and we were able to do that. So I'm going to throw up the perennial word chart of the lottery. That's our current staffing at the lottery. The main spots that we found, Armin had a vacancy with a technician. That was a full-time position. We replaced it with a half-time position. And we're able to move that to support a position marketing had. That was a half-time position that needed to become full-time. In addition, we went through and conducted a real look at what our administrative services were doing. They were doing a lot of stuff from when the lottery was first founded in 1986 that didn't need to be done anymore. Lots and lots of paper, they were saving a ton of stuff. We had 2 people leave from that, and so we decided to utilize those positions in different places, specifically over towards marketing again. Anne has expressed the desire for some additional help out in the field because of the number of sales reps that she has out in the field. So we're going to try to fill that position there. So Corey is still here. She's basically our admin support up front. I have to thank Armin's team. They've been good about picking up some things like helping with the phones and things like that as needed. So that's been valuable and has allowed us to make some additional changes. We have a couple other vacancies currently right now, but they're all in the process of getting filled. Matter of fact, tomorrow Phil and I have interviews for an information security officer. It's one of the items that we get audited on. Director Brown has been supportive with the changes that were started under Director Sales. So we continue to move forward. I don't anticipate any changes after this for a fair amount of time, at least hopefully until after I retire. So that would be really nice. By the way, you can ask these guys, they're hearing that phrase out of me a lot more.
It's becoming more regular, it's for sure.
So, any questions on our structure right now, or? That's it for me.
Okay, any questions for Director Bussman? Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to Director Brown for the director's report.
Well, I'll say that, one of my real goals, I guess, as I started first up, I'm completely happy being here. It's a real blessing to me and my family and everything else, but one of my goals as I started here was to be not be I don't want to say a director, but to be a working team member. And we're gonna come together as a group, and we're gonna make decisions that's best for the state and best for the lottery. And I just got to say that I believe our team is doing just that. We're working. Everybody works real well together. We've got some great folks here, and so that's in my mind, goal accomplished, and everybody kind of understands that. I think in the beginning, I had to be a little bit careful about what I said because people were taking me, I don't want to say too seriously, but seriously, and that still remains. But just because I have an idea doesn't mean that's the direction that the team is moving. We're gonna discuss all those ideas, out, and then we'll move forward with a consensus as we do that. And like I say, the folks that we got working here, everybody is just fabulous to work with, and they do a great job. And it does make my life pretty easy, you know, but, with that, you know, I'm gonna say I'm happy to be here. I think everybody's covered everything that we're looking for. Anything that you need, we'll be more than happy to assist you in getting the information and as we move forward, keeping you informed on what we're doing, you know, so that's probably it for me. Just a pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Any questions for Dr. Brown? Okay, well, thank you. It's good report and glad to see everybody's transition is smooth, running smoothly from director of sales to, so appreciate the work. So with that, I guess we could wrap up the meeting. I do want to ask for, you know, if there's anybody either online that's been hanging on or in the room that has any public comment for us.
Next meeting.
Okay, then we'll do next meeting day. Let's do any public comment. Ed?
Not seeing any public comment at this time.
Ed? That's easy. So then I guess next meeting date, which would put us into September. Do you guys have a close date?
I think we thought the 12th. Which is Thursday.
Mr. Chairman, I will be out of town till the 21st of September. August 29th till September 21st.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah, good. So I think that's kind of most of that window, so I think we could, I think we'll still be able to get a quorum if I mean,
Okay.
Steve, you're okay. And you,
No,
you're not, okay,
I'm leaving about the 15th and I won't be back. 15th.
but you could, August 15th.
15th of September.
So you could do the 12th though.
I could do the 12th.
Yeah. And if Steve can do the 12th, that gives us 3.
And Tony said,
And
yes.
Tony said yes too. Okay,
I won't be able
Oh.
to Zoom. I'll be
yeah, good. Have
far
fun.
away.
Yeah. So that gives us 4, and that gives us some room too. If we.
Do you want to do 9 or would you like to do 10 o'clock?
Either way,
You want to do 10?
10's
10 o'clock.
Yeah. Generally, it's easy start to the morning.
10 it is.
Terrible.
10 o'clock on the 12th of September. Done.
Could I ask a question in relation to that? Are there proxy votes allowed? I mean, if Commissioner Taylor wants her vote cast, but she's Bora Bora, can she leave her proxy with Sharon?
I don't think we've ever dealt with that.
If we do have the ability to vote via email, I believe, or do we have that in our?
Yeah, still have to have the ability to have public comment.
So that's that ability, public comment.
Yeah, and you would still have to have a quorum to get started to.
Yeah, so we're pretty limited on.
I'll check.
Okay. I mean, I understand you still have to have a quorum, but
Yeah.
you know, she or a commissioner might want to have their vote on the record anyway. Even if.
And my thought would be that you would have to, when you have everybody present, you would have to at some point in time vote to allow proxies. You know, I mean, that's.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
That's what, and I mean, in the legislature, that's what all your interim committees do. They vote to allow that or not to allow it. Generally, everybody does. It's not a big deal.
Mr. Chairman, Director Charpenter, I will attempt. I'll attempt, but I It's somewhere in the North Sea, so, depends, you know, who knows with technology, I'll bring my laptop.
Yeah, so, but we should be. We should be good. When do you leave? At the end of August?
29th of August.
So if they have an agenda, if there's something that. You foresee any real major votes or issues coming up for that one?
Not really, I mean, Mega Millions is the
Millions.
one, but you know, kind of the gist of it, I mean, essentially, and there won't be any changes to the game design. It'll just be the game rules and I will have those, I mean, I presume fairly soon, so if you wanted to review those and if you had any, you know, major concerns, I mean, and there won't be any ability to change them. They will be what they are.
The consortium just couldn't get their act together to get us the red line document describing essentially what Ann did that's displayed.
Okay, so I think we're good on the 12th then, and we'll look into the proxy vote. Anything else before we adjourn? We do the order.
Just one.
Okay.
I had a question for Brian. Brian, the alcohol folks over at Revenue offered to store some of our product. Did you offer to store some of theirs?
Actually, I did. I said the same thing to them that you would make that offer. So-
All right, just want to make sure you were taken care of.
They were concerned about breakage when it was over here.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
All right. All right, thank you. We're adjourned.
Thanks,
Brian,
everyone.
I had a tour of that building.
Stay safe.
I just wanted to know how to erase my name.